You know that feeling when a hero just like finds that extra gear, pushes past their limits, maybe glows a bit?
Yeah, totally. Suddenly impossibly powerful.
Exactly, like Mario grabbing a Starman, or I don't know, Cap finally lifting Thor's hammer, that kind of moment.
Uh-huh.
Well, today we're doing a deep dive into one of the original power-ups, a legendary technique that really defined an era of strength in anime. The Kaio-Ken from, of course, Dragon Ball.
Ah, the Kaio-Ken. Classic.
So our mission really is to crack open this essay you shared, pull out the key stuff, the surprising bits, and kind of get to the why behind it all.
Right.
Think of this as your shortcut, your way to get properly clued in on this iconic ability, custom tailored just for you listening.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We're talking one of the earliest, maybe the most visually striking power boosts in Dragon Ball Z, right?
Wow.
Way back in the Saiyan Saga.
Oh, absolutely. It really set the stage.
Yeah, for so much that came later with power-ups.
And it's fascinating because it served as this really crucial bridge.
Bridge?
Yeah.
How so?
Well, it connected the classic martial arts that Dragon Ball started with to all the later, more complex energy stuff, the transformations.
Yeah, okay, I see that.
Even though, yeah, it got overshadowed eventually, it was still this huge narrative and thematic milestone for how power scaling even worked in that universe.
Right, a milestone. That's a good way to put it. You mentioned it being a bridge, a huge leap. So who actually came up with this thing? Where did Kaio-Ken come from?
Okay, so Kaio-Ken, it translates to World King Fist, basically.
World King Fist, okay.
And it was created by King Kai, Kaishi-sama.
The little blue guy on the tiny planet.
That's the one. The deity looking after the North Quadrant of Universe 7. So right off the bat, this isn't just some technique picked up in training hall. It's got weight.
Comes from a god, essentially, and Goku learned it, obviously. I remember that trek, Snake Way, after he died fighting Raditz.
Wow, that felt epic just to get to King Kai.
It was a huge journey.
So what was the training like there? What prepared him for something so, well, dangerous?
Yeah.
Well, intense is probably underselling it. He was training under much harsher gravity, for starters.
Right, the gravity.
And also learning these new kind of spiritual philosophies. It was there he picked up both Kaio-Ken and the Spirit Bomb.
Two legendary techniques from one trip. Not bad.
Not bad at all. And King Kai himself called Kaio-Ken forbidden and dangerous.
Forbidden? Why forbidden?
Well, the name itself, World King Fist, hints at it. It implies it's exclusive, not really meant for mortals unless they had what King Kai called godlike discipline.
Godlike discipline. Okay, that definitely adds to the mystique. And the danger, like you said.
Right.
So that's the origin, the mystique. But, practically speaking, how does it actually work? What's happening inside Goku when he yells, Kaio-Ken?
Fundamentally, it's an amplifier. It ramps up your energy output by a specific multiplier.
So not like a full transformation where you change form?
Not really, no. It's more like an immediate, raw power surge. Across the board, too.
Across the board meaning?
Physical strength, speed, how hard his key attacks hit, like the Kamehameha, even things like durability and reaction time. Pretty much everything combat-related gets a boost.
And those multipliers. That's what everyone remembers, right? Seeing Goku go Kaio-Ken times 2, then 3, then pushing to times 4 against Vegeta.
Yeah. Each level just directly doubled, tripled, or quadrupled his base stats. It was visually spectacular, sure, but it also clearly showed the escalating power.
You knew things were getting serious.
Okay.
But you also mentioned danger. What's the cost here? It can't just be free power.
Oh, definitely not free. There's a tremendous cost. User's body is under, immense strain.
Like muscles tearing, bones breaking, that kind of thing.
Potentially, yeah. Especially the cardiovascular system, muscles, bones. Against Vegeta, remember how sparingly he used times 3 and especially times 4?
Yeah, they were like last resort moves.
Exactly, because the risk of permanent injury or even just dying from the strain was incredibly high. It was absolutely not a state you could just hang out in.
But then, later on, against Frieza, he pushed it way further. He hit Kaio-Ken times 10, even times 20, just in his base form.
He did, yeah. Which shows how much his mastery and stamina had improved by then. He could handle it better.
Still, though, the sources say even times 20 was barely enough against Frieza.
Barely enough. It highlights Frieza's insane power level at that point, but also shows the limits of the Kaio-Ken itself, even when mastered.
So, beyond just the raw power, the multipliers, what else does Kaio-Ken represent? You mentioned it being thematic earlier.
Right, it's got this deeper symbolism. It really stands for personal sacrifice.
Sacrifice, because of the physical toll.
That, and also meticulous control. and a really disciplined pursuit of power.
Yeah.
Think about it, unlike Super Saiyan, which often comes from rage or intense emotion.
Yeah, like pure anger sometimes.
Kaio-Ken needs the opposite. It demands serenity, focus, precision. It really shows off Goku's martial arts discipline, his mental clarity. It's controlled power.
That's a great point. The discipline aspect really does set it apart. It feels less like a magical power-up and more like an ultimate technique, you know?
Exactly. More earned, maybe.
And thinking about its role in the story, it was huge for closing power gaps, wasn't it? Like
Yeah.
when Goku showed up against Nappa and Vegeta.
Oh, absolutely crucial. Narratively, it was the device that let him bridge these massive power differences. Without Kaio-Ken, he arrives on Earth and just gets stomped by Nappa, probably.
Yeah, true.
But with it, he could suddenly fight toe-to-toe with these elite Saiyans who were naturally way, way stronger. That was a game-changer moment.
And that kind of taps into a core Dragon Ball theme, doesn't it? It's not just about who's naturally gifted.
Precisely. If you connect the dots, Kaio-Ken really hammered home this idea that runs through Dragon Ball. Effort and technique can actually stand up to raw talent and brute force.
The underdog theme.
Totally. It's about how hard you train, how skillfully you use what you have, not just your starting point. It's willpower versus destiny, almost.
Okay, so if it was that effective, that symbolic, why did it kind of disappear for a while?
Well, simply put, Super Saiyan happened.
Ah, right, the big blonde power-up.
Yeah. As the series went on, the Super Saiyan transformations just became the main way characters escalated their power. They offered bigger, more sustainable boosts, frankly. So Kaio-Ken, in its base form at least, sort of fell by the wayside.
Ryo told us in Ball Super, it came back.
It did. Completely unexpected, amazing return. Goku figured out how to combine it with Super Saiyan Blue.
SSB Kaio-Ken. Just saying it sounds intense and dangerous.
Both. Incredibly dangerous, but also awe-inspiring. Remember his fight against Hit in the Universe 6 tournament?
Oh yeah, when he suddenly flared up with that double aura.
Exactly. He unleashed SSB Kaio-Ken times 10. And everyone was shocked. The crowd, Hit, even Beerus looked stunned.
That moment really put Kaio-Ken back on the map, didn't it? Showed it still had a place.
It did. It solidified its unique spot in Goku's toolkit, especially layered with that godly key from Super Saiyan Blue.
But interestingly, even with SSB, it's still unstable, right? Still really taxing for him.
Oh yeah, very much so. It serves the exact same narrative purpose it always did, fundamentally.
A risky gamble?
A risky but sometimes necessary gamble to overcome odds that seem impossible otherwise. Still a high-stakes move, even for SSB Goku.
So let's compare it. When you look at all the power-ups in Dragon Ball Super Saiyan, fusions, Ultra Instinct, all that stuff, how does Kaio-Ken really stand apart? What makes it unique?
Well, several things. One is the duration. Kaio-Ken gives these short, intense bursts of power.
Right, not like Super Saiyan where you might stay transformed for a whole fight.
Exactly. It's temporary. And then there's the risk factor, which we've talked about.
The self-damage?
Precisely. Unlike Super Saiyan or Ultra Instinct, using Kaio-Ken, especially pushing the multiplier, actively harms the user. It's a genuine double-edged sword.
That feels very different. And what about who can use it?
That's another key difference. Theoretically, any trained fighter with enough K control and discipline could learn Kaio-Ken.
So not just Saiyans, not just gods.
Nope. Which makes it feel much more like a pure martial arts technique. Something you could achieve through sheer effort and training, rather than lineage or destiny.
And I guess that's why fans talk about it differently too.
Yeah, you definitely see that in fan discussions, power scaling debates. It's often called one of the most grounded techniques, more like an advanced skill than a magical transformation.
And visually, it's just burned into your brain, isn't it?
Oh, totally iconic. That crimson red aura, the pulsing energy, Goku's body outlined in red, that crackling sound.
Instantly recognizable. It really set a standard for what power-ups look like in anime.
Absolutely. Its influence is huge. You see echoes of it everywhere in other anime and manga. The power-up screams, the energy multipliers, the visual flair. Kaio-Ken really set a precedent throughout the whole shooten genre.
You know those action-packed shows for younger guys, basically?
Right. It changed how power-ups were depicted for, generations of shows.
And obviously it shows up in the video games all the time.
Of course. Games like Budokai Tenkaichi, Fighter Z, Kakarot, they almost always treat it the same way.
High risk, high reward.
Exactly. You sacrifice health or stamina for a big damage boost. They capture that core danger, that gamble.
Okay. Wrapping this up, what's the takeaway for you, the listener?
Well, I think even though it got overshadowed later by flashier transformations, Kaio-Ken's legacy is really strong. It's a testament to martial focus, to calculated risk.
Yeah,
It's really the heart of Dragon Ball's early power philosophy.
more than just a cool move.
Much more. It's like a narrative artifact, a thematic one, an early symbol of Goku's sheer grit and the idea that mortals could push past their limits through pure will, not just destiny.
So maybe the final thought for you listening is this. What does it really mean when effort and technique can rival natural talent, even if it costs you something personally? How do you push your own limits through sheer will, not just waiting for destiny in your own life?